Welcome back to November 2019 paper, question 2.2. Now if you look at the question paper, you'll always see that they have variables here that you have to use as ADOtable components, and these two are named TBL teams and TBL players, which are the same names as the actual tables, but actually you don't need to know what the names of the table. Yeah, you do actually. TBL teams and TBL players is the names of the ADOtable components, so that's it. And that's what you use in 2.2. You do not use SQL statements in this particular question at all. If you do, you won't get any marks. It says there no marks awarded for SQL in 2.2. Right, so let's have a look here. The under 18 team includes some junior players that are exceptionally talented. Junior players are born after the year 2002. So let's have a look at our tables here. We have an ID number, so 2002, so 02. We want all players that have got anything greater than 02 in the front of the ID number. The first two digits, okay, fine. Say the surnames and names of all junior players who are members of the under 18A team. So we want the under 18A team only. So there are going to be many players in the under 18A team. But we have to check their ID number for numbers greater than 02 and save it into a text file called juniora.txt. A new text file. So we're going to have to create a text file, and we'll have to have a text file variable. So this is 2.2.1. First things first, let's go and get a text file variable over here in our variable section. My file :text file and S1 line :string. Alright, so we're going to assign file my file to a text file variable called juniora18a juniora18a.txt, and we will rewrite it because we're going to write stuff to it. We want to create it and write stuff to it. We want to get it ready for writing to it. Now we're going to go through the table. Which table are we going to go through? Well, it would be the players table. The players, because the players have their ID number, okay, and the team name. We're going to look for team name, and it has to be specific team name only. Under 18A, where's my question now? Under 18A. And we're going to go through TBL players. So we say TBL players, oops, sorry about the caps lock, dot first. Remember, when you go through a table, you first got to get through to the first row, while not end of file TBL, while not TBL players dot end of file. Do you see that? I nearly wrote code for text files there, begin and end. And then I'm going to put TBL players dot next. Got to put that in there, otherwise that loop will carry on and on and on. It'll be stuck on the first row, and we won't be moving to the next and the next until we get to the end. Now, are we going to go through every single row? Yep, we're going to go and navigate every single row to see if that row has got a team name of under 18A. But we also have to get the year. But I'm just going to go and check for the team name first. If TBL players square brackets team name equals single inverted commas under 18 underscore and then an A, then take note that's a string, single inverted commas, then we're going to go and get the date of birth. I'm going to get the date of birth. I'm going to copy it and convert it to an integer. Year. So I want to see that integer is greater than 2. So I'm going to say r_year equals string to int copy from our TBL players. I've got to quote the column field, the column heading, RD number, TBL players RD number. So that is going to be a string. We know that RD numbers are always strings. We're going to copy from the first one, and we're going to copy 2 characters, which will give us that first 2 digits. We have to make sure we have our brackets in the right place. So I'm copying from the ID number, starting at number 1, copying 2 characters, which will be the 02 or 03, whatever. And that's going to return a string, and I'm going to convert it to an integer. Yes, the leading 0 will fall away, but all we have to do is now say if r here is greater than 2. Now, they don't say anything about what if it's 1990, you know, but we're not going to worry about the 1900s. We're going to assume everything is the year 2000. I mean, they said, you know, century starting with the year 2000. Yep. We won't worry about that. I'm going to keep it like it is. If the r year is greater than 2, then we're going to do some things. They said we must write a line. We have to write to the text file the surname and the first name of the player. How do I know that? They said save the surnames and names of all players to a new text file, but also determine the total number of junior players and display that in the result. So we're going to do a couple of things. We've got to increment a counter, and so I'm going to increment a counter here, and I'm going to display. Now, why is my iCount not giving me an error message? Okay, I'll call it iNum or iQuantity, but obviously that's just my computer. That doesn't want to give me errors, red underlines. I've got to make iNum an integer variable. I've got to set iNum equal to 0 before I even go through the table, because remember that we are counting all the numbers inside the whole table of people who are in under 18A and who are born after 2002. So we increment our counter when we find a match, and then we also have to write to the text file. So we say write ln open brackets, and now we've got a quote TBL players, the field name, and the field name is player surname, and we're going to join that to a space, and then the other field called player name, and we're writing that to the text file. So I've actually forgotten to put the 2 parameters in the right ln statement, my file, comma. Okay, so, but nothing's going to be written to the text file unless we do the following over here. Close file, my file. Now, where must we display the quantity? They say display the number of players in the team in LBL question 2_2_1. Determine the total number of players and display it in this label. So LBL question 2_2_1 caption. It's LBL here. I said BLB, LBL. LBL dot caption equals into string total players something to that effect anyway, plus int to string num, and that's it. So let's run the code and let's hope everything else is correct. No errors, yay, no errors. Does it do that all the time? Okay, junior players. So there we have it. Total players is 2, apparently. Let's see what our output says. Yep, there's 2. And it's successfully written to the text file. We can go and look there and see it. There's the name, surname and first name. Right, next question. Next question is 10 marks, and we have a rich edit over here, and we need to have goal and coach and goalkeeper information. Okay. The coach and goalkeeper of all teams are invited to special training. Code has been provided to set the various column widths and display the heading, so we don't have to worry about that. Right code to display a list of the containing the following information on each team. Right, now this is quite tricky because we have to double check for 2 tables. Now I've got to guess that we are dealing with 2 tables here. So the name of the team, surname, initials of the coach, surname and name of the goalkeeper. So surname and initial of the coach, and surname and name of the goalkeeper in the following format: surname, name. Surname, comma, name. So we're going to combine 2 fields there because we know we've got goalkeepers. Where is the goalkeeper? And the coach and the team name. The coach is here, but a goalkeeper is there, true or false. And we've got player surname and player name, and we have to join the 2. Player surname, comma, player name, but only if the goalkeeper is true. But we have to display the coach as well. Now, are there any conditions to this, or we're just going through every single one? So let's go and have a look at the question again. We don't have to, there's no conditions. We want every single team, the names of the coach and the goalkeeper. Now the initials of the coach, let's just run this program, it's easier that way. The initials of the coach, it's there. The coach has initials already, so we don't have to go and copy any initials out. The coach is full, fine like that. So we're going to go through every single player to see if they're a goalkeeper, and if they are, then we're going to go and look for the corresponding coach for that particular team that player belongs to. So team name is going to be our joining field. So we go and find, okay, there's Ben Jagers, he's team name and he's a coach. He's a goalkeeper, sorry. He's a goalkeeper. So we are going to then go and display this player surname, the player name, and the coach. Okay. But we also are going to display, are we displaying things? Player surname, you're on player name of the goalkeeper, and the coach's name. Name of the team. So it's got to be name of team, coach, and then goalkeeper. In that order: team name, coach, goalkeeper. So I want to remember that. But first we're going to go through, which table shall we go through first? Well, I think we go through player, TBL players first, and look for goalkeepers. Alright, if goalkeepers is true. So, of course, special training for coach and goalkeeper. But the coach is in the other table. Awful, isn't it? Never mind, we're going to go to TBL players first. TBL players dot first. Wow, not TBL players dot end of file. Do begin and end. And yes, we are going to make sure we have TBL players dot next over here, so we don't miss that one out. So we go to the first row of players, okay, and then we're going to go and check if goalkeeper is true. If TBL players, square brackets, goalkeeper well, actually, yeah, it's difficult to know which one to go first. I mean, either we're going to go through that table first or the other table first. Actually, you can do it both ways, but which is the easiest way? And you only find that out after you start doing it. Because if we have to go through here, are we really looking only for goalkeepers? No, we're actually trying to get the coaches out of every team. Because the question is actually saying all coaches and goalkeepers, and there are more coaches than goalkeepers. Well, I'm assuming anyway. Yeah, so if one team has many players, okay, so this TBL teams is on the one side, TBL players on the many side, so we know that that there will definitely be a match between team names in TBL players. So in other words, if under 14B team, actually under 14, let's say under 14, maybe there's a under 16A, well is there already on it. What if there was another team that didn't have a player, but it had a coach? I mean, it didn't have a goalkeeper, but it had a coach. Okay, it could be possible. Let's say under 20 or under 14C, say it's got a coach, but there's no goalkeeper. But they're going to train the coach. So under 14C is not in the TBL player table. Okay, maybe it doesn't have a goalkeeper. So we're actually going to go from the one side. It makes more sense. The one side is TBL teams, the many side is TBL players. Basically what it's saying is you'll have lots of team names here. They might not all be in TBL players, but any team name in TBL players was definitely going to be in TBL teams, because that is the many side. So we're going to go from TBL teams. We're going to start at TBL teams. So I'll say TBL teams dot first. Now we don't want to do this goal player story. We want to look if the because we are looking for a goalkeeper, we're going to see if the team, if TBL, we're going to get the team name, okay, and we're going to get the coach's name. We're definitely going to get the coach from every single team in TBL teams. That is a definite. We have to have that. So what we're going to do is build a string. We're going to do a building of a string, which will be much easier to handle this question with that. So VAR S line colon string. And for every single team, we are going to initialize a string. S line will be equal to an empty string. So every single team must have a coach and a goalkeeper displayed. And this if statement here is basically going to say S line is going to be equal to S line plus TBL teams square brackets team name. We have to get the team name first before we do anything else. Okay, and then each team but that's TBL teams, yeah, TBL teams. We're going to get the coach's name. And we're going to join that to the coach's name. So every team is going to have a coach. And it has a team name. But not every team has a goalkeeper. So we're starting on the one side. We're building the string of team name and the coach. And then we'll add a #9 to the end of it, because we're going to add another thing to the end of this long S line. and that's going to be later on when we go through the other table looking for that actual team name. And the other table is the TBL players table. Okay, so we're going through the first row of team. Get the team name, get the coach, and then we're going to zoom over to the TBL players and go and check to see if for that team name there is a coach. I mean a goalkeeper, sorry. There's a coach for every team, but if there's a goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper is only true or false in the other table. And if there is, then we're going to go and get the surname and the name for that goalkeeper. So we're going to say, now we've got to go through the other table. TBL players dot first, while not TBL players dot end of file do, and then begin and end. And we mustn't forget over here we're going to say TBL players dot next. We have to get to the next row. Can you see the structure there? We're first going through TBL teams. Get that line from the first row of TBL teams, getting a line, building a line of team name and coach from TBL teams, and then we're going to go to TBL players, and then we are going to check if TBL players, square brackets, team name, if that equals, so just imagine over here, we've got the first team name from TBL teams, under 14A. Then we go through each one. Is under 14A here? Okay, it's not there. So no coach. But maybe further down the line there will be. But let's make it more, let's say we got into under 16B. Okay, we've gone through all of this line, and then we got the coach, the team name and the coach. And then we join that to a string, team name and coach, and pull for XB. And then we go and open, we go to the first row of TBL players, and we go through every single row to look for that particular team name. And there could be many team names to go through, so we're going to go through all of it. We won't have any other condition. Just say while not TBL player.end of file. And when we find it, we check to see if the goalkeeper is true, and if it is, we're going to join the player's surname and player name together. So we're at this point here, we're checking to see if the team name is equal to TBL team's team name. What we could do here is just use a string, but okay, I'm going to just say TBL team's team name. So as you can see, I'm using another ADOtable component inside this if statement, two ADOtable component names. Then we also need to know then if TBL, you can put it in an and condition, if this, that, and that, if that is equal to that, and TBL players, remember we're in the players table, goalkeeper equals true. Take note, I'm using the word true there. Okay, so we have two conditions, and because this is Delphi code, I'm going to put brackets around the two conditions, otherwise we could have an issue. Okay, so this is TBL players, okay? If TBL players team name is equal to TBL teams, and this is actually, I got this wrong, this actually should be TBL teams, not players, TBL teams. And this is where you can make a mistake, you know, by not putting the right wording in there. So this is TBL teams. So if TBL, and then after we've gone, and this is, oh no, this is TBL players, oh gosh. So first we went into TBL teams, while not TBL teams.end of file, and here's the end of that one. And then this is the second one, we're going to TBL players.first, then while not TBL players.end of file. Then we ask if team name from TBL players equal to team name from that other ADOtable component TBL teams. and TBL players goalkeeper equals true, then what are we going to do? We're going to join the surname from TBL players. We're going to say S line equals S line plus, what's our previous line over there, remember? Plus TBL players, square brackets, player surname, join to a comma and a space, and the TBL players player name, because that is the first name. And there we have it. And take note, luckily I put my TBL players.next there, so I don't have to worry about where it is. And I can, if you want to see the code, see how important it is to indent. Okay, so .next is happening there. Where do we display that S out? Over here in the red shaded RED question 2 underscore 2 dot lines dot add S out. Now is that in the S out, or sorry, not S out, S line that we built up? We were very careful. We've got an empty string there, and then we get that first team name, and we're going to go through. You must remember that every single team here is unique. Team name is unique. So we're dealing one team at a time. Get an empty string, build the team name, and then go and say, okay, we're going to the first row of the other table, go and check out the goalkeeper, and if it's true, we add the player surname and the player name. And then we display it in the red shaded before we go to the next line of this table here, TBL teams. So I'm going to run this program. Yes, this is quite a complex little question. I've got some errors. It's probably syntax. Let's see. S line, there we go. Always goes there, right. Right, that sort of looks correct, eh? We're only joining, and actually in this case, all the teams have got coaches. Did they give us any kind of display of this question, of the output, possible output? They always give a sample output, so you can test your results. And actually that is correct, 100%. Right, so that was quite tricky. You have to know which table you're going to go and start off with. So we went through this table one team at a time, because this was the primary key unique identifier, and then we go and check for the team name in the other table, which has a team name, to find the goalkeeper and display that. Right, so have fun trying it by yourself.